good morning, everyone. Are you out there? Did you have a good weekend? We're happy to see you. We're here with Lavender this morning from Ferncroft. And Lavender's got some stuff to tell you. Basil is here too. And actually, Basil brought some of his friends. Hey, Lavin, did you want to say good morning to Basil? She'll probably bite him. She didn't. My name's Miss Pam, in case you forgot. And this is Mr. Bill. We have the camera set up this way so that you can see the animals a little bit better this morning. But before I get started, remember I have something very important to remind you about. You're going to see Lavender, who's our ambassador in Opossum. You already met Patch and Rudy. You'll see them at future shows. But I have to remind you that opossums are not pets. We have these animals because they had some injuries and they couldn't go back out in the wild. But really, you can't be asking, can I get an opossum for a pet? You cannot. Especially in the state of Connecticut, but I think in most states, it is illegal to even have them. So that's really important for you to remember, okay? So these are wild animals that we're taking care of. Let's take a look at Lavender. Bill, can you put Lavender down here? Let's see how she's going to be this morning. We'll move Basil out of the way. Hi, Lavy. Good morning. I'm going to answer some questions that you had last time about Lavender. One of them was, how old is she? Lavender right now is going to be 2 years old in just a few more weeks. And for an opossum, 2 years old is kind of old. They don't live a long time, maybe 3 or 4 years at the most. When we got Lavender, she was a tiny, tiny little baby. She only weighed 2 ounces. She was about 8 weeks old. Lavender had fallen out of her mama's pouch. And we got her a couple of days later, and she was so scared, and she lived in an incubator for weeks. She actually, during the day, lived in a pouch around my neck so that she wasn't so scared and she wasn't so lonely. I'm going to try something. I don't know how this works, but I thought I would try to show you a picture. That's what Lavender looked like when she came to us. Just a tiny little look at, this is Lavender living in the pouch. She lived in that little pouch around my neck. Wasn't she the cutest? And she grew into the cutest little baby. Lavender, so she weighed 2 ounces. Somebody said, well, how much does she weigh now? I think she weighs around 7 pounds. Let's weigh her and find out. So we have a special scale. It's a baby scale. Maybe some of you have baby brothers or sisters at home, and this is the kind of scale that your mama uses to weigh them. But this is what we use to weigh Lavender. This is the proper way to hold an opossum, by the way, by the base of the tail and under their chest. And we're going to put Lavender down. Lavender weighs 7 pounds and 5 ounces. Wow, that's pretty big. Actually, for an opossum, that's not really big. Remember that Patch and Rudy are much bigger than Lavender because they're males. What did you think of that, Lavender? So this is the way I pick her up. My hand goes under her chest, and my other hand holds the base of her tail. Now she feels nice and secure. That's the best way to hold an opossum. And then another question that came in is, what do opossums eat? Well, possums that live in the wild, that live in the woods and live in the fields, they eat things like worms and grubs and salamanders. Some of them eat mice or frogs. They eat fruit that fell from the tree. Like if you have an apple tree, I would love all the fruit. They won't be raiding your vegetable gardens, though. They don't really like vegetable gardens. And they eat roadkill, and they eat garbage, and they eat ticks. And that's the reason a lot of people like them to live in their yards. Now, they don't chase the ticks, but they are so clean, and they're always grooming themselves. And you see this big, long fur? All the ticks stick to this big, long fur. And so when they're grooming themselves, they eat the ticks that they find. But when we have them in captivity, it's a lot harder to feed them. As a matter of fact, feeding them is one of our greatest challenges because we have to be careful that they're not getting high protein We also have to be careful that they're not getting too much vitamin A, so we're careful if we feed them any kind of baby food. So for protein, the kinds of things that they like eggs, and they like cheese, and they like chicken, and they like fish, sometimes canned sardines in water, cottage cheese, and they like fruit. Although my opossums don't really like a lot of fruit. They'll eat applesauce or pureed fruit, but a lot of opossums love fruit. We don't give them a lot of fruit, though, because it's got sugar in it. They don't particularly care for vegetables, but that's something we have to give them. And so what we do is we kind of trick them. We cook the vegetables, and then we scramble some eggs and a little bit of cheese in there, and it's an omelet. We call it the opossum omelet. And they'll eat that because they think that they're just getting eggs and cheese. They're actually getting mostly vegetables. And they get yogurt. Should we see if we could feed Lavender, if she'll eat? I think I see the question. Let's put this down, and let's get Lavender's dish. This is Lavender's favorite dish. It's just a little clear pie plate, but we're going to put it where you can see whether or not she'll eat. And what are some of the things that we're going to give Lavender today? We're going to give her a little bit of apple. She's not going to wait. She's going to come after this. Oh, look what she took. She took a little piece of banana bread. We're going to give her a little bit of applesauce. And this is how we make her eggs. I put them in little muffin tins. And this little muffin has about a half an egg in it. And then it's got cauliflower and broccoli and all kinds of good things in here. And we'll give Lavender a few pieces of that. This is Lavender's favorite food. These are shrimp, and I'll bet you she'll eat those shrimp. This is Lavender's favorite vegetable. This is cauliflower, raw cauliflower, and she likes raw cauliflower. She's eating this banana bread. We'll take that away from her and see if we can get her to eat something a little healthier. The banana bread was supposed to be a treat later. And this is yogurt, and they all get about 2 tablespoons of yogurt a day, and that acts as a probiotic for them. So Lavi, look what you've got. You've got some shrimp. This is Lavi's favorite. Want to try it? Let me move this out of the way. Would you like to? Oh, she stole the shrimp. She stole that shrimp right from the top. There you go, Lavi. What do you think? Oh, she loves that. So this is Lavender's breakfast. Normally, Lavender eats breakfast very early. But today, we just gave her a little snack at breakfast time so that you could watch her eat. So the other thing that they all eat, both wild and captive, is kibble. We choose for our indoor opossums, we choose Nutrish because it's low in protein and it's got dehydrated fruits and vegetables in it. But for the wild ones that we have winter food stations for, we feed them whatever kibble is on sale. Kibble, by the way, kids, thanks for you. Kibble is dry cat and dog food. A lot of you must feed this to your cats and dogs. So that's what we feed our opossums. Anything that's on sale works. All right, so while Lavender's eating, we're going to talk a little bit more about her. If you look at Lavender, do you remember what kind of an animal Lavender is? She is a, who remembers the word? She is a marsupial. And do you remember what a marsupial is? It's an animal that has a pouch. And Lavender has a pouch. Lavender is also nocturnal. Do you remember what the word nocturnal means? Nocturnal means that while you're sleeping, she's playing. And while you're playing, she's sleeping. So she sleeps during the day usually. And she gets up at night and she runs on her wheel and she plays. And it's a lot of fun for Lavender. So let's talk a little bit. Lavender, did you have enough for now? We're going to take your food away from you. You ate all the, so she ate all the shrimp. She ate some of the yogurt and some of the applesauce, and she left the eggs and the vegetables. She's a smart opossum. Lavender, can we show them your pouch and talk a little bit about opossum babies? We don't have any babies. I know a lot of you asked questions about where are the babies. Can we see pictures of the babies? The babies aren't here yet. I would think maybe in a couple of weeks we'll have some babies here. Right now, if there are any babies, they're very tiny and they're living in Mama's pouch. And do you remember what the pouch looks like? Let's take a look at Lavender's pouch again. Can you see her pouch? It's like a circle in her belly. And that's where her babies live. And remember that any animal that has a pouch is called a marsupial. Lavender's pouch is like a little circle in her belly. You know, like a kangaroo has a pocket. Different animals have different kinds of pouches. But that little circle has a muscle that goes all the way around it. And she has control of that muscle. And she can make it very loose if she has babies in there and she wants air or she's letting them come in and out. Or she can make it very tight, very, very tight, so tight that she could jump in a river and swim and no water would get in there with those babies. So the pouch is sort of important. Like if there's danger or if she's running, she's closed that pouch up. And if her babies are very tiny and you looked, you might not even know that she had a pouch or that she had babies in there because it might just look like a little skin fold in her belly. But as her babies get bigger, her pouch gets bigger and bigger. And then you know that she's got babies in there because she looks like she's got a big fat belly and it drags on the ground when she walks. When an opossum gets pregnant, they're only pregnant for less than 2 weeks. Think about that, just 2 weeks. And when they give birth to their babies, they're tiny, tiny little babies. We call them beans or pinkies. This is how big a baby is when it's born. Can you see that little, little, little bean? That's how big an opossum baby is when it's first born. We call them pinkies, actually. Let's see if we can get Lavender to come over. She doesn't want to be on camera today, obviously. When those little tiny babies are born, they're not really developed. They don't really have eyes. They can't see. They don't have any fur. They're just tiny little, what we call embryonic babies, like little embryos. And Mama licks a path on her belly. She makes like a little saliva river. And those babies sort of swim up to her pouch. And they latch on so that they can get some milk. They actually, when they're born, they have an extra little claw to help them get up there. But you know, inside of Mama's pouch, she's got, maybe some of you have had puppies or kittens and you've seen Mama feeding them. Well, Lavender has a little way to feed her babies too, inside her pouch. Lavender could have as many as 20 babies, but she only has enough room for anywhere from 8 to 15 babies. The average is 13. So you'll always hear people say, oh, they have 13 babies, but they could have less or they could have more. And sometimes, even though they have the ability to feed, or it looks like the ability to feed, say 12 or 13 babies, sometimes not all of those little teats work. And so really, the fastest babies to get up to Mama are the ones who latch on, and again, a little different than from a cat or a dog, who you see a little kitten and you can just take the kitten off the mama. Not true with an opossum. The opossum mama has more like a long string that goes down the baby's throat into its belly, and it drips milk in there all the time. I'm going to show you again. Bill, maybe you could hold Lavender for a minute. I'm going to show you a picture. I don't know if you can see it very well, maybe not. But that sort of shows you what it looks like when a baby is feeding on a mama. And this is what little tiny babies look like when they're born. They're very, very, that's 15 little babies that we got from a mama. And this is what babies look like when they're in the pouch. And you wouldn't ordinarily see them if they were in the pouch. Look at those tiny little beans inside the pouch. I know showing pictures isn't quite as good as seeing it live, but hopefully you're going to get the message. And then those babies latch on to Mama. and they have like a little membrane on their mouth, and they sort of fuse on, and that little string swells in their throat. So they're really latched on for 6 to 8 weeks, and they get all this milk, and they begin to grow and grow. And I'm going to show you. This is an example. So in this mama's pouch, there are babies, and we wouldn't even see them maybe at first. But as they get bigger, we begin to see them. And when they get to be just about this size, if Lavender could come over here, please, so we could see them. When they get to be just about this size, they start to come out of the pouch. So look, and they ride on Mama's back. Look, oh, that one's riding on Lavender's back. Let's bring Lavender over and put a couple on her back and see how she thinks about it. Hey, Lavie, would you like to take a few little babies for a ride? So you might see a mama opossum, and she's got all these babies on her back, and you're like, whoa, what's happening? It's okay. That's what they do. And during that time, it's very important that mama is teaching them some things. This is a better example because Lavender doesn't really like the baby on her back. This is an example of babies do ride on the mama's back when they get bigger. Can you please keep her on the camera? Sorry. And you know the thing about opossums, you've seen ours. She's silver and Patch is black, but they can be brown. They can be a rust color. They can be white. If they're white, we usually try to rescue them because they really don't have a great chance of survival because of their color. So now the babies are riding on Mama's back. What do you think about that, Lavender? Is that pretty good? Yeah. And while they're riding on her back, she's teaching them how to hunt. It's really important. She teaches them how to find mice or salamanders or other animals, little animals that are out in the woods. And she also teaches them where to live. A lot of you had questions. Where do they live when they're out in the wild? They love hollow logs and other animals' burrows. They'll find the burrow of another animal. Or they might live under a shed or under a porch. So you're not quite sure where they're going to be living. Something that's important is, are there people saying hello to us, Bill? Something that's important for you to remember, that as wildlife rescuers, our job is to rescue. What does that mean? Bill, I can't see her. To rescue means that we take an animal that's been injured or abandoned, and then we rehab. And to rehab means that we make them healthy, and then we release. That's the most important part. Can I have Lavender, please? Sure. And let's see. I see that Donna Small is out there, and Jackie is out there, and Erica is out there. Hi, everyone. It's really nice to see you. And I think Isabella and Michael, you're out there, and Ilsa and Lawson. Hi, I'm happy to see you guys. Cora, Anna, Tori, are you still there? Cora, Anna, and Tori are my great nieces, and I wonder if they're out there. Rowan and Declan, are you out there? And Tristan, are you out there? I'm not sure who everybody is who's out there. But let's see. Let me take Lavender again so that you can see Lavender. And let's see if we can see Lavender's feet. Can you see her foot? Let's see. I don't think so. I think the light isn't as good as it should be here. We'll have to do better light. Mr. Bill, can you hold her foot up to the camera? Can you see Lavender's foot? Nope. You can't. Oh, I'm sorry. I wanted to show you her foot because their feet are kind of cool. Their feet are like monkey feet on the back. They have an opposable thumb. And in the front, they have a hand, just like ours. So they're really pretty cool. Okay, I'm wondering, now that you've met Lavender and she has eaten for you, and we've weighed her and found out that she weighs about 7 pounds. The other thing that we do for Lavender almost every day is we brush her and we put a little bit of coconut oil on her tail because their tails get so dry. Lavender loves to be brushed. She thinks it's very cool. We don't give them baths. People ask us, oh, do you give them baths? Not usually because they're very clean animals. And think about it, it's like giving a cat a bath. It doesn't always go so well. Although Lavender's pretty good. But because she's so clean, we don't have to give her a bath. Sometimes, like right now, Patch is really molting. And so we may give him a bath. Oh, you like that, Lavender? And I just take a little bit of coconut oil and I put it on her tail and I rub it in, and it makes her tail feel smooth and soft, and it keeps it supple. And she likes that. So now, when you think about it, Lavender has been weighed. She's eaten her breakfast. Billy, where's her bed? And she's been brushed, and she's had coconut oil put on her tail. So you know what Lavender will want to do next? Let's see. We're going to put her bed out, and we're going to see. Hey, Lavy, you want to go to bed? Let's see if she'll climb in there for you. She usually loves to go in her bed. There she goes. Maybe not. Yes, she's going to go right in her bed, and she's going to go to sleep for the rest of the day. So do you have any questions? We try to watch the questions on the teleprompter. It doesn't really go very. No? Okay, we don't have any questions. Well, I hope it was fun today. I hope you liked seeing Lavender, liked seeing her get brushed, and that you learned a little bit about babies. I do want to tell you something else about the babies, though. The little ones are called pinkies, but as the babies grow, they're called joeys, just like a kangaroo. And the boy opossums are called jacks. And Bill, there's questions coming in. The girl opossums are called Jill. And a group of opossums is called a passel. So you know how like sometimes we say, oh, it's a litter or it's whatever. We say it's a passel of opossums. I think that's kind of cool. Try to say that 3 times fast. So today that you learned that Mama has a pouch that's a circle in her belly with a muscle that goes around it that she can tighten to protect her babies, or she can loosen when the babies are older and they're coming in and out. What happens when they first start to come out is they'll come out and they'll kind of look around. She might teach them to eat, but they'll go back in until there's too many. And the thing about them riding on her back, I just want to tell you that if you see an opossum that has babies that are bigger, first of all, you're very lucky because it's really fun to see a mommy with the babies on their back. But the babies do not all line up on her back like you see in the pictures. It isn't like that at all. There's some on her back, some on her head, some on her butt, some are chasing behind her, and they're calling for her. Do you remember what a baby says when he's calling for his mother? What's the sound he makes? Anybody remember? It's kind of like almost like a sneeze. And he's calling his mother. And how does his mother talk to him? His mother says, the mother clicks. And the mother's saying, come on. Or she's saying, wait, stop, there's danger. But sometimes a baby falls off the mama's back and mama doesn't know how to count. And maybe she doesn't hear him. And she keeps going. And that's how sometimes we get baby opossums because that's how we got Lavender. She fell off of mama's back. Mama didn't come back for her. We got her instead and we saved her. So now you know a baby opossum says, ch, ch. A mama opossum says, and actually a male opossum says that too. They also can growl. And the thing that we all think is funny is the opossum smile. That's the first thing an opossum will do when they see you. The opossum smile. That's what the opossum smile looks like. Can you do an opossum smile? I think we should all say hello to each other that way from now on. When I see you, I'm going to go, and you're going to go, oh, Miss Pam is smiling at me. Isn't that wonderful? And let's see, we have Susan and Mary and Kara and Brenda. Oh, good morning. Kaden, are you there? I think you were there. And look at Lavender. She now is in her bed, secure, and we won't see her again for a while. So everyone, thanks for tuning in. This is Pam from Ferncroft Wildlife Rescue in Woodstock, Connecticut. We really have fun with you. And we'll see you on Friday. And on Friday, the star of the day, this should be interesting, is going to be Patch. And Patch doesn't do a lot, so we're going to have to put our thinking caps on what we're going to talk about when we have Patch. All right, everyone, have a great day.